episode number 4 of our weekly StreamYard Town Hall. My name's Gage Vanatop, and I'm here with Dan Briggs, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing outstanding. How are you?
I'm doing good. I take it you're not watching the Super Bowl this evening?
Yeah, actually, I was just telling Gage I didn't know.
All right, everyone.
I didn't know it was the Super Bowl.
This is
I always forget to mute YouTube. Muted.
Okay, good to go.
Yeah,
no
I
tonight?
honestly didn't know. I didn't know it was the Super Bowl. I guess I'm just such a Canadian that hockey is the only sport.
All right, let's look at the comments here. Thanks, April, for joining us. The early duck gets the bread. I like that. Thanks, Beauty Bubble, for tweeting stuff out. Craig, nice to see you here.
I didn't know Craig was in New Zealand. I'm curious where you're from in New Zealand, Craig.
Yeah, Dan spent some time in New Zealand. You were backpacking around there, right?
Yeah.
Roy, thanks for joining us. Dana Bence, and of course, Linda. Okay, so let's start with, I interrupted you, Dan. What were you going to say?
I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay. So the first topic, of course, that everyone's been asking about is mobile updates. So Dan, why don't you give us a rundown of where we're at with that?
No updates.
No updates, no changes?
No, yeah, I'll give an overview. So like we said last week and in other places, we're starting with guests, and that's in part just because that's the main need right now is you can't get your guest on StreamYard. You have to have them on a laptop or desktop. So we're starting with guests, and it's going to be coming very soon. Like we made big progress this week, which is exciting. And one of the main things we're trying to do, because like we've always talked about, one of our pillars is ease of use. And one of the things we're not a big fan of is having to download apps, especially like if you're a guest coming to a broadcast and they make you download the app. Now you've got it on your machine. Like it's just kind of this clunky experience. So we're actually trying to do everything in the browser because you can get it equally as good, but nobody has to download anything. So you just come here and you're in exactly like on a laptop. So it's taking like a little bit longer to do that, but I think ultimately it's going to be definitely worth it because
super smooth experience, right? Because no downloads at all. It's just like a computer, click a link and you're in, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the other thing that's cool is browsers are kind of coming into this. Like when Steve Jobs released the iPhone back in 2007, there really wasn't an app store, and like he didn't want an app store, right? Because the browser's so convenient. If you can do everything in there, you're good. And then people found they just weren't powerful enough, and they wanted to make these separate apps. But now we're kind of getting to the point where the browser is very, very powerful. And so you're starting to see this push. A lot of developers are moving back to browser stuff. And, like Android and iOS, they're coming out with all these cool, like progressive web apps, things like that are, apps or as powerful as apps, but they're in your browser. So the shift, like in developers, is kind of moving back towards the browser. And we're kind of we're kind of catching that wave right now.
We're on the cusp.
Perfect timing. So I think that's really cool that we'll be able to do it as much as possible in the browser. Like we're working through the kinks because native apps have been using video technology a lot longer, but it's definitely coming together. All
right, good stuff. Craig is from Auckland, by the way. Did you spend any time there?
Yeah, I actually slept in the airport at Auckland.
Nice.
That was my only day there, but that's very cool.
JM is here. JM, I believe, is Jennie. JM stands for Jennie, I think. Is that right, JM? And then Coach Jennie is here, of course. Thanks for tuning in, Jennie.
Right on.
All right, what's our second topic? Oh, yeah, one thing I just wanted to cover, just because it's come up quite a few times in the group, is oftentimes people will ask something like if something's a feature of a paid version, like something having to do with comments or just some small random feature they'll think is possibly part of the paid version. I just wanted to reiterate the only difference between the free and the paid versions are the logo, overlays, and backgrounds. All essential features are going to always be part of the free version. So we'll never do anything like disabling an aspect of comments or something like that. So if it seems like it should be part of the free version, it's probably going to be part of the free version. The next topic that's come up quite a bit is guest comments, which we're still kind of just the two of us trying to discuss and figure out what the best way to accomplish it is. Because some people are under the opinion that it'd be really nice for their guests to be able to see comments while they're doing the stream, and others think it might be kind of distracting. My opinion is that it can be distracting, but if someone is a regular guest, like more of a co-host, like someone like Dan, I guess, I think it is nice to be able to see the comments.
Yeah.
So I think I'm under the opinion of doing something of basically integrating it into a co-hosting feature where in order for a guest to see a comment, they have to be your co-host. And then you want to add anything to that, Dan? I think you had the opinion that maybe we could have a setting you could toggle if you want the host to be able to determine whether or not they wanted their guests to see the comments.
Yeah, I'm always careful with it just because settings are it's just an extra thing for everyone to run into, and like ease of use is so important for us. But yeah, my initial thought was some kind of setting because I know some people would want to keep it off, and I definitely get that. Like the first time I was ever a guest, quite frankly, I didn't want to see the comments because I want to focus just on the conversation. And I think a lot of guests, if they're not used to live streaming, that's, as a host, that's what you'd want. You don't want your guests being distracted by the comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I absolutely get, like right now, I have YouTube open on the side because.
Yeah, if you're doing a co-host type thing, I do think it's good. So maybe that's the direction we'll end up taking. April has a question for us. What about bringing audio through screen share? Is that on the horizon? I have Voicemeeter and it works for me, but it does not work for everyone. Yes, I would like people to avoid having to use external programs if they don't want to. So yes, it is on the horizon. It actually is pretty much trivial. Well, not trivial, but it's very easy to implement because it's actually it's part of the browser. It's something that Chrome and Firefox do on their end. So it's sort of a switch we just have to turn on. We just want to make sure that all systems support it, and we test it out to make sure it works the right way for everyone. But it is on the horizon, and it will be added eventually. Do you have any more information with that, Dan? I thought initially it might have been a Windows only thing. Was that right?
I'd have to check again. I don't recall. Because I know there's like a difference between when you share the application audio versus a tab.
Tab, I think everything works with tab audio. Yeah.
Okay. Because tab works very well I believe, because like when you share a tab, it'll share the audio from the tab, but it doesn't really disrupt your conversation. Whereas as soon as you share like your system audio, you could also be sharing the audio from your guests and then like feeding that back in.
And that gets complicated. So to answer your question, April, yes, it's on the horizon and it's pretty easy to add. So I don't think it'll be too far away. Let's see, anything else here?
Again, you
comments definitely controlled by the primary host. Yeah, finally getting the hang of it. All right, what was our next topic? Oh, yeah, so we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming in February. So just make sure you guys keep tabs on our emails to you because I think you'll be stoked about some of the changes that are happening. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys have any more questions, just let us know in the comments. Otherwise, we'll probably wrap it up pretty soon so you guys can get back to the Super Bowl if you're Super Bowl fans. I don't think Dan and I will be watching it.
So I got to ask because I honestly didn't know the Super Bowl. Such a Canadian. Who's in the Super Bowl? Who are the teams?
I think it's the Patriots for sure.
Okay.
They seem like they're always in the Super Bowl. Every time there's a Super Bowl. They might not have been in the last one. They probably were, actually. I don't know. I think it's the Patriots versus the Rams, maybe. But
okay.
I don't know. Everyone else watching this probably already knows. So.
Oh, it's not the Are you guys kidding me?
I was right. Patriots and the Rams. Nice.
Rams. All right, we got it. Very cool.
All right. I'm just Craig's wondering what the Super Bowl is. Yeah.
Yeah, down in New Zealand, it's a lot of rugby.
I'm just clicking through here to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Looks like Beauty Bubble had a trivia question for us. Describe the Super Bowl in 4 words. What number Super Bowl is it, Dan? Do you know? Yeah, there's no way you know.
Hold on. Let me take a stab at this. Describe the Super Bowl. Second biggest sporting event. That's my go.
That's if it's not the correct answer, it's an acceptable answer, probably.
I'm sure it's not the correct answer. As far as I know, the World Cup gets about 3 billion viewers. So I don't think it's topping that, but
you said second.
Second, yeah.
When using an overlay image, how do I turn off my lower third? You just click it, right?
Turning off the banner or the comment?
I think she means the banner, yeah?
Yeah, you just have to click it. As long as that is indeed what you're asking, we've also considered making a lot of the things on screen clickable. In fact, our original version had that, and no one really used it, so we got rid of it. But we've considered just like, say you want to get rid of this comment right now, like Gage could just click on it, or there's an X on it you can click.
Which is not something we have right now. But
no,
one thing that people probably don't know about is that you can actually right-click on this video player, which I would guess almost none of you know. But if you don't feel like using the buttons at the bottom, you can actually right-click on the video elements to do the layouts and remove people. So, fun fact.
Little hidden gem.
Let's see. Dale, nice to see you. Doesn't care about something.
Computer challenge is fixed.
Yeah, I saw. I've been watching Dale's streams. He got a new computer and it looks good.
Oh, excellent! Right on, Dale.
Not the banner. My name still shows up when I add the overlay.
Ah.
So that's another feature that's been asked for a lot, is the ability to toggle names on and off, which is also on our radar.
It is, yeah. Definitely.
But the overlay would cover, I guess it depends how you've done the overlay. But yeah, okay, I understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing that's what Jennie means, is she has an overlay image.
Banners and comments hide the lower third, but not.
I see the confusion. Okay. Yeah, the primary reason we did that and the reason we turn it off for the comments and banners is because we know where the comments and banners will be, whereas the overlay image could be anywhere and it might be very subtle. So it doesn't necessarily make sense to turn the names off all the time. But that's a good argument. Like, maybe that's how we do it, right? Like, you want to turn the names off. There's no separate setting. It's just, do you have an overlay? It's an option.
Right. Maybe put some thought into that.
Just throwing some ideas out there.
Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to mention this week is say thanks to, I don't know if she's watching or not, but Heather for pointing out we got a tiny scheduling bug. So if you guys ever find a bug, we very much appreciate it when you mention it to us so that we can fix it. So there was some date issue that basically made it where we were having issues with scheduling in January, so we were able to fix that. Y2K-esque issue.
Yeah, exactly. It was a Y2K-esque issue.
All right, any more questions? Oh, no, by design, Jennie, but it's a valid point. All right, I don't think we have any more questions. So if there's no more questions, guys, I think we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for tuning in to the 4th Town Hall. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. And remember, February is going to be exciting. So keep an eye on your emails because big things are happening.
Yeah. No, it's going to be good. Good month.
Adios.